Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor, for those of you who have never been here before, and today we are talking about whether or not EA is kind of able to save The Sims 4. A lot of players can talk about how The Sims 4 isn't as good as previous games. I know that I am guilty of that. I think that The Sims 2 is holy grail simulation game and the best one that we have ever gotten, and honestly maybe will ever get. I even think it's better than The Sims 3, which is a controversial opinion. But honestly, a lot of players think that the game isn't even fixable, and I just kind of wonder, like, can EA save The Sims 4? And of course I want them to move on to The Sims 5. I want us to all move on to The Sims 5 and feel good about it and be able to change what we hate about this game and fix a lot of those issues. But I'm just like, since we know from a recent article or something, I don't remember what it was, they said that they're not moving on to The Sims 5 quite yet, and this means that we're going to have to deal with a couple more packs for The Sims 4 at least. I don't even think it's going to come out in 2021, so I'm like, okay, can they save The Sims 4? This isn't everything that they can do to fix the game. There are so many other things that need to be fixed as well, but these are just some of the things that I think that they would have to do if they want The Sims 4's legacy to be a little bit less tarnished. I know that it still will be tarnished because so many of us are fed up, a little bit frustrated, but I just have a list of things that I would need personally. You may have a different list for them to do if I want to feel a bit better about the last 6 years of The Sims 4. If you have any ideas for things that you would need them to fix that aren't on this list, be sure to leave them in the comments. You know, be nice to each other in the comments. I know you guys can get a little heated sometimes, but definitely let me know how you feel in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and follow me on Twitter. So the first thing on my list is NPC story progression, and what this means is townies doing things without you telling them to. So people who are out in the world, like the Goth family, the Landgrabs, all of them, kind of having their lives evolve and change and have babies and get married and things happening in the world around you without you having to go into that family and do it yourself. I think this is really important because when the world changes around you without you having to change it, you kind of feel more like it's dynamic, like things are going on, and like you can kind of affect the way that things are happening without it having to be directly from your sim. So like if you were to go and make friends with Cassandra Goth, maybe you hang out with Cassandra Goth and someone else, and then they get married because they met each other. Like I think that that would be kind of cool if you didn't have to control it, but like you could still have some influence. I don't know if they're ever going to do more story progression. I do know that they talked about it in one of the recent surveys, and you had to rank a bunch of stuff that, like, are you caring about this thing? Do you care about this thing? And I definitely put that number 1 on that survey. So I'm really hoping that they add a little bit more story progression for people that you aren't playing with, and not just the ability to make them age and make them not age and just have Sims dying. The next thing I would need them to do is add more family gameplay. If you want players to get excited about this game and come back over and over and over again, you need to add more family gameplay. You need to have these players getting so obsessed with children, that sounds really weird, getting so obsessed with their Sims children to the point where they want to play them as teens and they want to play them as adults, and they get so in love with these families that they just keep coming back. If you don't have family gameplay, all your kids do is kind of go to school, do one of the 4 aspirations that we've had for the past 6 years. Nothing is different with children. Nothing evolves with children. Like, there's just nothing interesting to do with your families. You can barely do anything with toddlers. Babies are babies. A bassinet. So I really think that adding gameplay will bring players back, and even players who've kind of given up and gone back to The Sims 3 because of the lack of family gameplay might come back and give The Sims 4 another chance. I really want our kids to be able to have sleepovers. I want our teens to be able to go to prom. I really just want these life events that connect you to your Sims and just make you want to come back and play with the same families over and over. I just need more family gameplay and more family gameplay events. The next one on this list is that I really need more connections between other characters in the worlds. This may not matter to a lot of people, but it really bugs me that, like, other than the people in the households, Sims don't really know each other. And this is getting a little bit better with recent packs. I know that in Snowy Escape a couple people knew each other, but like if you go into the base game, it doesn't make any sense to me that like the Goths don't know the Spencer Kim Lewis household that lives down the street, or the Pancakes, or like anybody in the entire world. Like Cassandra Goth knows her parents and her brother, and that's it. And it's like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't even need them to know people in different worlds. Even if it was just you knew everyone in Willow Creek, or you knew some people in Willow Creek and you had some kind of relationships, I feel like it would make the world feel so much more real. This is especially true for the Landgrabs, because the Landgrabs, Johnny Zest, one of my favorite Sims if you've watched this channel at all. You're currently trying to get him to not be a ghost in our Rags to Riches, but he is supposed to be a descendant of the Landgrabs. He's supposed to be one of them who kind of separated from the Landgrabs because he wanted to be his own person, wanted to be a comedian, yada yada yada. He doesn't even know them. There is no genealogy. They don't know each other at all. They've never met. I'm like, okay, I understand that like he's supposed to be broken off from the land grabs, but he should know them and just have a poor relationship with them. And I think that they really should fix this in some kind of way. In The Sims 2, there was so much lore and so many relationships. In The Sims 3, there was like relationships. And I can't believe that there's none. There's just none. There's nothing. And it breaks my heart. The next thing is that I really need them to update and bring back whims. So whims are something where you can get satisfaction points from tiny little tasks that your Sims want to do. And in the base game when it was launched, these were just turned on automatically. They were above your Sim's head. There'd be like 3, sometimes 4, I think, things that your Sims want to do. And the issue is that they decided to just turn them off completely instead of updating them and fixing them and making them more interesting. So whims for like 2 completely different Sims, like Sims with totally different traits, would be exactly the same. Like I would have 2 Sims both wanting to buy a bee box from The Sims 4 Seasons, and I'm like, neither of them garden, neither of them even like being outside. Why do they want to buy a bee box? You do currently have the option to go back into your settings and turn whims on for yourself, but they're really shallow and they don't make sense with individual characters. I really want them to be more like the wants and fears system from The Sims 2, because it was just good. It was just really well done. The wants and fears were fun. They really were tailored more towards like your Sim's lifetime goal and just little things that were going on in their life. You know, if they just gotten married, they'll want to have a baby. It won't be like buy a bee box, listen to music, make a hamburger. Like those things just aren't interesting enough to me. I need them to be like a little bit more in depth. And I really do think that they need to bring whims back, but only if they're willing to fix them. The 5th thing on my list here is to give us cars, and at this point, I don't even care if they aren't drivable. I just want my Sims to be able to own a car that they can have sit in their driveway, a car that they can sit in, a car that they can woohoo in, and I want them to be able to, okay, obviously I want them to be drivable, that was a joke, but like I want to be able to teach my teens to drive. I want that back so badly. I want to be able to have like a kid go in and like play in the car or like make a mess in the car or do something. I don't know, I just need cars for realism. Out in the real world we have cars that can drive themselves, but in The Sims 4 we can't drive at all, and I just don't think that's okay. In addition to giving us cars, we really need some of the things that we are begging for. This game has been out for 6 years. We shouldn't still have to beg for spiral staircases and bunk beds. I don't know what's going on with the mechanics of this game where we don't have spiral staircases and we don't have bunk beds, but I'm over it. I'm so sick of it, and I need for this to be done. The next thing that I honestly don't think they'll be able to do is to give us create a world back. I want to be able to create my own neighborhoods and my own worlds with my own interesting storylines and characters, and just have these fun like universes that I get to create in my own head, and not just the ones that are given to us by EA. And just because of the way that The Sims 4 works, I honestly don't think that we're going to get create a world in this version of the game. I hope that they bring it back for The Sims 5, because I know that a lot of players really enjoy creating their own worlds, and it really helps for builders because you don't have to kind of design your world around what's around you. You can kind of make whatever you want, and you can make up an entire universe if you want to, with lore and friendships and relationships and beautiful homes that you made yourself, and it's just, I want it back so bad. The next thing is I really want them to improve genetics. There's actually this whole thing where if you have a like legacy of a family that goes on for too many generations, the Sims just get really ugly. And I don't quite understand why this happened, but I specifically remember Lil Simsy making a video that was like what happens after 10 generations in The Sims 4, and the Sims just start getting really weird facial features, and I don't really understand why that is. And if it's a game where it's a life simulation, you kind of want people to come back and want to play the same families over and over, but if I have like really beautiful Sims for like 5 generations and then they start getting ugly, I'm not coming back. Like, sorry, I'm just not. It's not gonna happen. So I really want them to be able to improve the genetics a little bit so that Sims look more like their parents and less creepy sometimes. Another thing with the genealogy is that I really want them to fix the family tree. I really hate that when you click on a Sim in the family tree, it shows you like their immediate family, but not everybody. I just want stuff back from old games. Like I want to see the old family trees, but you could see generations all at once, so it just looked more full and real and beautiful. The next thing I really want if The Sims 4 is to be fixed is a memory system. I want to be able to look back at the things that have happened in my Sims' lives. I want to be able to see when they got married. I want to be able to see like when they had babies, like look at even just little icons that are just like, oh, this happened and then this happened and this happened and this happened. I hate that we don't have a real memory system. You can do it with screenshots, but it's just not the same as it being automatically done. And I think that having a memory system once again makes you feel more connected to your Sims, and I just want it back. The next thing is that I really do think they need to add a color wheel for hair. Now I'm not talking about skin tones because in a few days we are supposed to get the new skin tone update. I'm not going to comment on it until it's out because I don't know what it's going to be like. I don't know if it's going to be any good. So I'm just going to wait to see the community reaction and how I feel about it. So we're not talking about skin tones currently. But I really do think that we need a color wheel or some kind of customization options like what they're doing with the skin tone update for hair. We don't just have like 18 hair colors in real life. Like I can't find one that's the right color for mine. The one brown is too dark, the other brown is too light, and it just doesn't feel correct. And I want to be able to customize it a little bit more, like maybe have roots that are different, kind of like in The Sims 3 with create a style, but I just want it for hair. I just want it so bad. The next thing is to give us more options. Now, in the settings, there are so many things that we used to be able to do in previous Sims games. I've been thinking about this a lot, like a lot. The one thing in particular is I want to be able to choose how long lifespans are for each life stage individually. This is available in The Sims 3. There's a lot of sliders in The Sims 3 options, and I want it back. I want my kids to be able to be kids longer without increasing the amount of time that toddlers are toddlers. And I know that I can have birthdays for my Sims. I'm well aware that we can change it whenever we want, but I really just want to be able to make them individual really badly. I want to be able to make teens, you know, a little bit longer, young adults a little bit shorter, because I don't care about that. I just want to be able to change more settings, more random settings. I want to be able to toggle things on, turn them off. Just give me more options. Games need options for us to enjoy them. The next thing, another one I don't think that they'll actually be able to do, is to give us more traits and make them deeper. Traits in The Sims 4 do not have enough holding them down, like they're not good enough. They really don't affect your Sims that much. We only get to have 3 trait slots, and I just don't believe that this is enough to have a well-rounded, interesting character. And with the emotion system, traits are just so boring. They're just so boring in The Sims 4, and they, honestly, all they need to do is add whims, fix the whims, and make them more tied to your Sim's traits, and then I would be happy. Literally, that's it. I just want whims back and for the traits to mean something. And if the traits meaning something just changes whims, I'm cool with that. That would add more realism and more interesting gameplay for me, and I would be so happy. The next thing is they would obviously need to fix babies. I don't need to talk much about that. Babies are objects in The Sims 4. I just want to be able to take them out of the crib and walk around. That's it. One thing that a lot of players don't really talk about that much is carpools, and this is something I really miss in The Sims 4. I miss the school bus coming to pick up the kids. I miss a car coming to pick up your Sims to go to work. It really bums me out that in The Sims 4, your Sims just walk to the edge of the lot and then disappear to go to school. One of my favorite details is from The Sims 2, once again. When you first get your job, you'd have this like kind of crummy, dirty looking car come pick you up every day, and as you get better and better, the car gets nicer and nicer, and you would eventually get picked up by like a limo or a helicopter in the game to bring you to work, and I thought that was so cool and such a cool detail, and I really just want something like that back. I want my Sims to get into a car to go wherever they're going and not just disappear. It really like breaks the realism for me and makes it feel just so shallow. Another thing I really want back is burglars. I know that a lot of players get a little bit anxious because of the burglars in The Sims 4. You'd hear the music and you'd be like, I don't like it. But honestly, it was such a big part of my childhood, and the moments where I realized I forgot to put an alarm system were some of my favorite moments playing The Sims 4, because I would just start giggling like a little weirdo, and I would be like, oh my gosh, I forgot it. They're gonna steal everything and I'm gonna have no money. I really love when my Sims save up for a brand new TV and then they end up getting it stolen. I don't know why I enjoy that so much, but I love how they barely get any money back from insurance, and it just makes it so that it's harder to play the game, and I just think we need more consequences in The Sims 4 to make the game a little bit harder and a little bit more interesting, so that your game just doesn't feel the same every time you play it. And of course, the last things on this list are to fix the bugs and reduce the lag. I've seen a lot of people who have a lot of packs in their game right now where The Sims 4 is almost unplayable, and it's like, okay, we're getting back to Sims 3 territory where if you had more than one pack installed at a time, you could barely get the game to run, and it's like, we don't want this for The Sims 4. It is 2020. It is not 2014. We need something better quality that can handle more. Like, I have a gaming computer, and it doesn't make sense that The Sims 4 is starting to lag on a gaming computer. The whole reason why they said they got rid of the open world and all of these features was so that it could run on lower end PCs. So I shouldn't be buying a few $1,000 computer and having the game still lag in 2020. It just doesn't make any sense. There are also so many bugs that pop up all the time, and I know that the team right now, because of everything happening in the world, is working from home. So I can only imagine that it's really hard to get all of the bugs dealt with from working from home. So I get it, but like, at least fix the bugs from the last pack that you release before you release a new pack, please. There are just so many things that are driving me crazy about this game right now, and if they can't fix them, we're just gonna end up with a completely broken, unplayable game, like when they moved on from The Sims 3 to The Sims 4, and that's just devastating to me. But yeah, guys, those are all the things that the EA would have to do to The Sims 4 for me to be able to think that it's kind of saved. If you have any ideas that you think I forgot or that I missed, just let me know in the comments down below. I really like hearing your guys' input and the things that you think might be able to save this game and make it more interesting, make it more playable, and just make it a longer term thing, because we've spent so much money on this game, especially if you have every pack. It's like over $600, probably more like $7 at this point, and I just don't think it's fair that they're probably going to leave it broken when we move on to The Sims 5. It's just kind of how the cookie crumbles. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Also, follow me on Twitter. I like to post random things over there. I don't know, sometimes it's pictures of coffee, sometimes it's snowing. I don't know. I'm a bit of a weird one. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.